Welcome back to Stories Outside Nigeria. Now, 7 international and Congolese human rights organizations are in support of the plan by the United States and the European Union to expand targeted sanctions on DR Congo's president, Joseph Kabila's family members. The US and EU accuse Kabila's family of benefiting from unlawful activities in the Congo, and these include misuse of government funds, money laundering, and improperly delaying elections. A researcher with Human Rights Watch, Sawyer, is joining me now on Skype from Brussels to discuss these accusations. Thank you very much for your time with us on the news. Tell us, first of all, if the Human Rights Watch is also part of this plan accusing Congolese president's family of all these human rights violations, and of course, if you're also in support of the plan to expand the targeted sanctions.
Yes, so Human Rights Watch joined 6 other international and Congolese human rights organizations yesterday, urging the United States and the European Union to expand targeted sanctions on President Joseph Kabila's family members and his close financial associates. And in particular, we've urged them to target those who've been involved in serious corruption, misuse of government funds, money laundering, or fraud, and who have used these tactics in order to quash peaceful dissent, improperly delay elections, or otherwise maintain Kabila's unconstitutional hold on power. And we believe it's urgently time for these international players to show President Kabila himself that there are real consequences for his abusive rule, and to help take action now before the situation gets even worse in Congo.
Right, and talking about abusive rule, and of course the allegation of, or the accusation rather, of a power grab, what proof does the Human Rights Watch have as to these concerns, and of course what more can be done in this situation?
So we've documented over the past 3 years how President Kabila has sought to retain power, stay in the presidency by just continually delaying elections, not setting a date for when elections will be held, and also overseeing a brutal crackdown against peaceful dissent, against pro-democracy youth activists, the political opposition, journalists, and others. And he's also let government security forces commit serious abuses across much of the country with impunity. So we believe that the longer that Kabila is allowed to stay in power without any real consequences, that will just embolden him to continue in the strategy of violence, repression, and theft to entrench his hold in power. So in addition to the targeted sanctions against family members and associates, we've also called on Congo's international partners to work together with regional leaders in Africa to urge President Kabila to step down by the end of this year, which is what was called for in the power sharing agreement signed at the end of last year, and to also signal clearly that if he fails to do so, that they will impose sanctions against Kabila himself. We've also urged them to support the organization of what has been called a citizens' transition for a brief period of time to organize credible elections after Kabila would step down.
And in one of your statements recently, while talking about violence and repression and the thefts going on there to stay in power by Joseph Kabila, you mentioned that if these continue, the Congolese people will be the ones to continue to pay the biggest price. Can you expatiate on that? What are the concerns, particularly on the people in the country?
So what we have documented as has maintained his power, he's carried out this campaign of repression. His security forces have killed scores of peaceful demonstrators, arrested hundreds of others, and security forces have also been involved in brutal crackdowns against militia groups in the central Kasai region. For example, over 5,000 people have been killed in the past year. Most of the violence has been by government forces. There are increasing indications that this is part of a so-called strategy of chaos being used by those around the president to create pockets of insecurity and large-scale violence around the country as part of a way to further delay elections and allow Kabila to keep his hold on power. Meanwhile, the country is also facing a serious economic crisis, so the challenges are many, and they just seem to be growing as this political crisis continues.
Out, and with all that's in the air, talking about the tension there, one begins to wonder how the coming days or weeks will even play out to bring about a peaceful resolution to the issues there. Central Africa Director, Human Rights Watch, Sawyer, thank you very much for joining us here on the news.
Thank you.